Thank you. All right, this is the March 17th, 2021 meeting of the Ashburnham Website Review Committee. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Tonight we have online with us John Mulhall, Donna Burton, TJ Kelly. Hopefully Donna Michael will join us soon. So going through the agenda, first on the list.
Time.
Oh, thank you. Time is 5:37. Forgot that. Make sure I put that in the notes. All right, 5:37 p.m. All right, not our usual meeting night, but we'll get by. Okay. So could I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve agenda.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great. Excellent. All right. Next. Okay, approval of the March 8th meeting minutes. Did everyone get a chance to take a quick look?
Yep.
All right, could I get a motion for that?
Motion to approve minutes from March 8th as written.
All
Second.
right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Makes it easy. Okay. Oops, lost my place. All right, so review of the survey results. And of course I have them on the other computer, but I took a look through and I didn't do any percentages, but I did take a look and see what some of the common keywords were. So I went through everybody who said I can't find the meeting minutes, everybody who said I don't know who to call in town hall because I can't find the phone numbers. I went through and I kind of assigned those keywords to each comment that we got. We ended up with, I think, 35 comments when all was said and done. We had somebody submitted theirs 3 times. They were completely identical, about an hour apart. So I weeded out that it was specific language, so it was obvious. So after I did that, I think the big common things that I noticed were people want to be able to find out when the meetings are. They want to review the meeting minutes. They want to be able to look up the directory for town hall to find out who to, phone numbers or email addresses. Then it kind of dropped down precipitously to all kinds of other little things that people wanted. There were a few more that I'm not remembering right now. I had a few people that want to see police logs. Permits. That was the other thing. The other big one was everybody wants to be able to do their permits online and make their payments online. So really, those were the top 4: permits, payments, meeting minutes, meetings in general, and directory. So I think there was only one person that kind of said they wanted to be able to interact with people on the website. Somebody pointed us to a website for Boca Raton, Florida, and which has an excellent website, but we're also not a large community like that with that kind of funding. So I see what they mean, but that wasn't not really in our realm of capability here. So the only other thing that I was going to do and ran out of time, I was going to kind of tally that up just to give us some numbers so that when we talk to the BOS, we can say of the 35 respondents, this percentage wants this percentage wants that, just for a talking point. But all of it really kind of just pointed us in the same direction that we've been talking and what Braxton was talking about with, we just have to do a little bit of cleanup, a little bit of reorganization, and add the online forms. And I think some of the rest of it was just people not being familiar and not spending time. Some people were complaining about things that it was obvious they've been on the site once, which is fine, but that's not really a driver for us to try to fix that problem. I don't know if you guys got a chance to take a look and if you had any thoughts other than that.
No, I was looking at the survey and was just kind of looking to see like what were the common, same as you, what is most common, and just try to narrow that out.
I saw, the same feedback, obviously, and you mentioned that it's like, kind of along the lines of the cleanup, reorganization stuff. Is that the kind of thing that Civic Plus would do for us, or would it be on us to get in there and move stuff around? I'm still not really clear on what kind of help they can provide for us on an ongoing, on a daily basis, kind of get in the weeds with us, as it were, based on the package or contract that we have now. Uh, and I've seen the documents. I'm not looking for anybody to resend or for Braxton to get onto the call with us or something. Just a matter of like, hey man, can you help us fix this? Little by little by little as a service. Is that something they do, or are we on our own here?
Well, as you know, a lot of documents that we have, like meeting minutes, things like that, those are supposed to be held on to by the town clerk. They did back in 2017. I used to do the postings of agendas and minutes on our website, and then the town administrator decided to use my town government. And so that's why people are complaining now, because they can't find anything. It's all up on my town government. So I did put like a notice, on our main page when people are looking for that, how they can go about doing it. Now, if they're not reading, I can't help them, But as far as cleanup, a lot of our stuff, like, could be removed, taken down. I just don't know, like, where they're talking, where some of the people would be talking about what should be removed, what needs
Sure.
to stay. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Us
The
being
big question
government.
for me, Donna, and you're right that there's mixing services here, my town government versus our site. That definitely causes confusion. And you're further right to say if people aren't reading the instructions given, then there's not much more we can do. There is definitely some ways to improve how and where and how many times those instructions are given to people.
Right.
If I've learned anything in my career working with websites, it's that the big red button staring you in the face gets missed.
Yeah.
People don't read, they skim. And there's some work to do there to play into or cater to the user experience, I don't know, rules or learnings, whatever you might call that. And that kind of falls into interface design, right? Putting
Right.
buttons in certain places, putting announcements in certain places, and all that. So, but the big question for me is who's going to do the work, right? Is it us or is it Civic Plus? And if we have to draw a line somewhere, how do we decide what goes in which column? And I don't know if we ever got an answer on Braxton on that. And that I think is going to drive a lot of this, right? Because if they say, listen, we host it and we maintain it, and you could think of us as the battery or the engine in the car or something like that, but it's on
Yeah.
you guys to drive it down the road,
Yeah.
then okay, that changes how we plan for what to do, right? So I kind of think that's where we'll end up, but I still don't really have a solid answer or understanding on that.
Right. It's like when we moved from the old VT to the Civic, um, there was some things, that was moved over, and there was some things that was old and didn't move over. So if we upgrade, there's a possibility that things could be weaned out.
So I had a, I spoke to Braxton prior to our meeting, and we talked a little bit about this. So the notes that I have to address specifically TJ's concerns, I never really asked how much we could do on our own. I asked what their role would be and the costs for different levels of an upgrade. So for no cost, he said we can move a few buttons around, probably change some tabs, some limited things like that. If we want to do a limited redesign, and I can't tell you what that means, but a limited redesign, we'd have to have a meeting with their art director, and we'd have to scope that out separately. So that would be a separate cost. If we want to do a complete overhaul for an overall cosmetic design change, and it would be like getting a whole new site, that would be $4,500. So if we want to scrap the current template, go with something modern, different, that's $4,500. I'm guessing a limited redesign would be somewhere in the middle. And like I said, the no cost option is we can move a few things around on our own. He suggested that some of their clients do a 4-year recurring redesign, and they just pay $750 annually. And then at the end of the 4 years, going into year 5, they redo the website, complete redesign, change the template, and do a full update. Yeah, I like the concept. I just don't know if that's us, just because of, I don't know if we changed that much. Donna, how long have we had Civic Plus in this current template? Do you know?
We started, I believe, back in 2017.
So really not that long.
Not that long.
And you know, the template isn't the biggest driver here, right? The template might help with, like we're saying, the big red button gets missed if they have a better way to lay out that big red button, or in better terms, you know, a better way to get announcements to people. You go here to see meeting minutes, for example. There's a better way to do that. That's kind of on the template level. But if it's the why can't I find this and how do I do that and I wish I could do that, all the wish list stuff we talked about however many months ago, that's more you know, organization of information. And you know, it's above move stuff around, but it's not exactly template level. That's just like, how well are we as a, you know, committee or whomever is actually clicking buttons under the hood here, displaying information and grouping it and labeling it and organizing it and all that stuff. The stuff that, you know, if we had a full-time person whose job was to maintain a website every day, would concern himself with and would be kept very busy by doing all of that. We don't have that person, so we get by. But you know, again, template isn't the biggest fix here. A 4-year redesign for a new template, probably good for things like mobile, or as new technologies come on and we take advantage of that. That's not a bad idea, but they're almost two separate discussions. There's some overlap, but not as much as it might seem. So you know, I still want to know, like, all right, Braxton, can you help us figure out a better way to, you know, answer this question, right? Whatever's in that survey, which is like meeting and I forget what you listed there, John. Meeting stuff. What was it?
Directory
Permits?
payments and directory payments and forms.
Yeah. So if we sat down, if this were a consulting firm or something, you know, or an agency, and we said, hey, listen, people tell us they can't find permits. That's a broad, open-ended, you know, problem statement that we would bring to our agency. And we'd say, what solution can you offer to us to help us solve this problem that our fellow citizens of Ashburnham are mentioning to us? And their job is to research answers and come back with solution options that we choose from, and then they help implement it. So given that this is not an agency, this is a, you know, technology platform, how much of that stuff can they offer? Even if it's just like, hey, here's some other examples of other towns that have solved this exact problem. Permits are a problem in, let's say, Boca Raton, right? Here's how Boca Raton did it. Here's how Westminster did it. Here's how we've looked at a few other options, right? A few other towns. Even that level of guidance would be good. But it's not the kind of thing that we're set up to provide for ourselves. And I don't know if they can do that or would do that.
I'm sure they would. I think it just comes down to, you know, how much will they do until they start asking us for money. So, and that's, and we'd have to ask Braxton directly, you know, how many times can we call you before we've worn out our welcome on our current contract and have to pay for additional consulting fees and assistance. And I think, TJ, I think you're exactly right that we don't have the resources to do a lot of this stuff.
So, you know, because that's true, John, maybe the short-term answer is the free option, move stuff around and let them provide some guidance insofar as they can. And that's just step one. All right. You know, we're going to put budget together for a redesign if it's the 4-year recurring or whatever. But before that happens, can you help us, you know, put some band-aids on it to at least solve a few of these problems as much as we can today? And, you know, and then, so we're doing both. We just have to be incremental about it.
Yep.
You know, and it's also possible, I can't guarantee this, but it's possible that in a template conversion, right, we go from our red one to an orange one or whatever, that will necessitate some, you know, organization or conversion of information. And therefore we're almost forced to go through the process of reorganizing things. almost auditing what we have, and is there a better way to be displaying this, and that provides an opportunity to, clean some things up our own, ourselves, in or maybe even with them. Honestly, if it's going to be a template conversion, we're paying them the $5,000 or whatever. While we get there, can you also help us move some of this information, or improve the way it gets laid out, and maybe that gets wrapped up into that process. Again, I can't confirm that. Maybe they're going to say, sorry, it's just colors, it's not words. I don't know, but hopefully we can say, listen, we're paying you the money to upgrade the template. Can you also help us reorganize some of this information while we're doing that?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that's a good thought, TJ. I think that guidance is going to be really important. So,
and recognizing and getting them to understand that, like, we don't have a full-time staff that does website only.
Yeah.
Right. Donna, as the primary person, you have a million other things going on. This is
Yep.
not your primary gig, so we can't throw it all on your shoulders and say, figure it out, Donna. And
But too, it's like I said, even when it comes to posting, you can only post what is given to you. You can only take down what the other departments tell you to remove or replace.
Right. And that one is so far outside of Civic Plus's scope that, we're actually
Right.
wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Right. That's on us.
Yeah.
And Brian to,
Yeah.
institute some
say-
some organizational
I would say
change.
we would have to start with each department, say, let's do the cleanup. Tell them to look at their page, see what they need, what they don't need, and go from there too.
What we might ask Braxton for, and it's possible we have something like this. I haven't looked for this exact feature, but I know, like, for example, on the mass.gov site, which looking for vaccines, I've spent a ton of time on that site recently. Every page on it has a feedback type of widget, right? It's like, I can't find what I'm looking for, or something is wrong, or something is missing, something's broken, whatever your problem is. You have an immediate way to reach out to them and say, I have this problem.
Yeah, and I can't stand the Mass website.
Yeah.
Every time I go there, it takes you 25 steps just to find what you're looking for.
What my point though here is that, like, if we had such a widget on our site, and again,
Yeah.
we have options like this, that somebody clicks around, they're looking for, I keep thinking of dog license, because like I emailed you about Donna, right? I have a dog now, so I'm going through that. Anyway, if I got lost and I couldn't find what I'm looking for, and I reached a dead end, and I reached this page and I said, I'm sick of this, I just want to fix this problem, I could click that leave feedback button or something, and those messages would come to you, Donna, or to whomever, maybe the committee, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, no, they would come to me.
Right, and we collect them
webmaster
and say, all right, we have a problem on this specific page.
Yeah.
Right. And so after a month or 6 months or whatever of collecting those things, we would have data points to go back to, Brian or anybody else and say, listen, 90% of the complaints that we get are coming from X, Y, and Z department, of things missing, things not updated, things not, posted, whatever. This is clearly,
that's a real good idea for that kind of feedback.
Yeah. And that provides ammunition to go to that department and say, listen, proof's in the pudding, right? All of the complaints are you guys.
Right. I agree. Yeah.
So I'm sure that Civic Plus has something like that. The widget exists. How much they can roll it out, who knows?
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a great idea. Okay.
I don't see anything like it. It's almost like the how do I, except the how do I thing is just a directory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anything like that on our site now.
No, I don't think we have anything like that at all. I don't think we have a feedback whatsoever.
Just contact, but it's not website specific.
Right. Yeah. Now, if we, well, kind of a separate topic, but if we decided to implement the chatbot, that I think he was saying that has a no, I didn't find what I was looking for button on there, and that generates data.
Yeah. And I do like the chat box idea. But can it go into the current website that we have?
I think it can, if I understood him correctly last time.
Agreed. Yeah, I think it can. I think we can just load it up.
And I think they said, what, 45 on that for the initial?
That's what's coming. No, I think was it 2,400? Let me go to those notes. 2,400 a year with no setup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that would be something that I would highly consider, recommend.
Yep. Yeah. We've got a couple of questions we still need answered from him, I think, based on what we've discussed so far tonight. Do we want to talk about the package upgrades or changes or add-ons based on what he said?
I think the lower package, or maybe just the next package up, would probably be best. But, once again, that's bringing the cost to the town. And then if you're gonna add, what did they say, like, where was it on the last one, John? Was it 15? No.
I
What
think
was
that's
it?
if we
The
went with,
Optimize, the Civic Optimize, if we
Yep.
went to that, that's 4,500.
right, with $5,500 setup cost. And I think to go to the optimize, what he called the starter package, which gave us the Power Automate option, that
Mhm.
was 15,000.
Oh,
And I don't think we're there. And to be honest with you, I wasn't about to get in there and second guess him. I am not the one with the experience to do that. But I've used Power Automate a little bit, and it doesn't care where stuff comes from. There's all kinds of different triggers you can set. So we would need somebody to, if we found, well, I guess we talked about it a little bit. If we had someone who could figure it out, or if I get better at it, and I don't mind, donating my time to the town, if we could set up some workflows. So when a dog license form gets filled out and they hit submit and it gets sent to an email box, that could generate, we could program it ourselves to generate a workflow that, a copy goes to, treasurer collector's office, and a copy goes to the town clerk, and a copy goes to the dog catcher. I don't know. We could set that up. It's possible to set that up ourselves. There's not magic there. There's know-how, which I don't think we currently have that resource in town hall. And I don't know, maybe it's not a new tool, but it's new to me. But I don't think we're ready for the full rollout of $15,000 with all kinds of different, click to send it here, click to send it there, because we're not digital anyway for a
right.
lot of this stuff.
What did he say our next step was?
I think it was the optimize base.
The Optimize or the Engage? Which one was?
The Engage, I think, was the big one. That was the one that gets more towards a portal, but he kind of downplayed its forms capability. Like, you can, but it's not as good. So I was a little at a loss as to why we would want to go with that anyway.
No, all I would like to do is just go to the next step up, but I didn't think it would be such a hefty cost.
Yeah, I think it's the add-on of because I think the Civic Engage is well here here it is we need to make a decision whether we're going to retool the whole website now, because the Civic Engage, my understanding, was different platform. So we'd be leaving the CMS platform. So we'd be getting that full redesign of a brand new website, which by itself, he was going to charge us, if we just do that, the full overhaul is $4,500. If we go to the Civic Engage, it's a 15 to 25K one-time setup, and it's $6,500 a year.
I don't know. That just seems awfully high.
Yeah. So
I'm going to add to that yes, it's awfully high, for a town of our size and our needs and all that. But also, like, why pay for something we're not set up to use fully?
Right.
You know what I mean? We have to clean our own house a little bit before we can even justify upgrading, I think.
Yeah.
Agreed. I think, although I think that adding the Civic Optimized base package that just gives us the online forms that just go to one place, you hit submit, it goes to one mailbox, is how I understood that package. that lets us do all our online forms and lets people just get into the, they just go to the website, say, I'd like to fill out my dog license form or whatever. You click on it, you fill it out, you hit submit, and it goes to Mary Ellen, whoever it goes to.
It goes to me.
Oh, it goes to you. Okay, so it goes to you, Donna. So it shows up, so your inbox fills up with dog license requests. But they're all done and everything. So you can process them however you decide on your end. That seems to me like the next step. Donna, I agree with you. I kind of think that's Ashburnham's next step, because like TJ said, we're not set up to use any of the other tools yet. This is the next tool that we need to get set up for, that I think everyone wants to move to. I think this is the right tool.
Yeah, we just need it probably in better written, maybe written from Braxton for the next step up, better itemized out or whatever.
Yeah, I still have some questions back to TJ's comments about what do we, where do they help us and where are we on our own? How much of this form setup do we need to do ourselves? Is there a web tool that they're going to give us to create these things? How does that work? I want to know a little bit more detail as to how that's going to go.
Yeah, but I don't think we need that yet, because like I said, the building department is trying to work on a program to get for the building, to be able to do permits.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were trying to work so that there was a package for the planning board, for zoning, for even the dog, to be able to integrate dog licenses. So we were looking at package deals. I don't know where everybody stands.
Yeah, because that almost sounds like you'd lose some of the scheduling and tracking capabilities. So as like a form was submitted,
yeah,
I don't know if the Civic Optimized base package lets you do tracking, like sticks them into some sort of a tracker. It sounded to me like you have a web form, you hit submit, and it goes to someone's inbox.
Yeah.
And maybe I was just simplifying it for my own understanding, but it didn't sound like it's a tracking, like a ticket system.
Right.
Where like you submit an IT ticket and it goes through 4 different levels of approvals and they fix it and you say yes, they say yes, all that. So if that's what they're looking at, that's a different tool. But if it weren't for that, it sounds like Civic Optimize would do at least the basic form side of it. The thing that I'd really like to see, no matter what we do, I'd like to see us get that chat bot.
Yes, definitely.
Because that could answer every question except for submit permit requests and submit payments. Because
payments, we already have payments.
Yeah, right. For just about everything. So that would take care of everything, probably except for I want to submit my permit online.
Right. We're working on that one though.
Right. All right, so I'm gonna make that note. TJ, do you have anything yay or nay on the chatbot?
I don't like them as personally, but that's just personal. I don't have any data. I don't have any, a ton of professional experience on watching as an administrator of one of those to see how they get used and all that stuff. So the only thing I can go back to is whether or not I would use them. And I find chatting with a person totally fine. I'll do that all day. Chatting with the bot, I just, as a user, I don't enjoy it. I will say, however, I can recognize the value of, like we talked about a while ago, of collecting the data, of seeing what types of things people are asking for, and letting that, drive resources and project and all that. So I'm a little skeptical on its ability to actually answer people's questions. I think at the end of the day, it's gonna say, sorry, I don't recognize that question. Please email us at whatever, and it's just gonna drive everybody there, or some percentage of people anyway. And that's not necessarily a loss. People can still feel, validated. They can still feel like they got instant response, whether or not it was an instant solution. and they feel like they're at least making progress, and they're not just shouting at a billboard now, right? So
Right.
that can be good. I don't know about them being a silver bullet, but it's still probably better than what we currently offer. So.
Yeah, and I hear you on not enjoying the experience. I usually avoid those. Maybe it's because early on they didn't work that well and I had poor experiences. But just I think for me, this would solve my problem with trying to figure out what I need when I do a search and how to say the right words. All right.
I'm gonna say, would Civic be willing to let us test it for like 6 months and, you know,
I don't know. We could ask.
to see
Yeah.
if it would work for us before we go ahead and try and purchase?
Yeah. The other thing that I had on my to-do list, on my short to-do list, was to go to the Portland, Maine site and just start searching for all kinds of stuff and spend half an hour searching for all the stuff I would try to find on our website and see what it pulls up and see how accurate it is. Because that one's live and supposedly working and learning.
Yeah.
I'm sure out of the gate it's going to be tough. But, you know, we got to start with it someplace. But we don't have to start with it if we choose it.
I think somebody on our last call said you can feed it questions early, right? So that the three of us and Donna and anybody in the office or something can just sit there and throw softballs at it to train it a little bit. I think I remember him saying something like that. So you might be right, John. The test could be a great idea. I don't know if that was your idea. That's a good way to start. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. So it still seems like there's some things that we don't know that I'd feel more comfortable knowing before we make a recommendation, but I think we're being asked to give a recommendation.
Yeah.
So
I think the recommendation, the way I see the big pieces of the recommendation are, short, medium, long term. And the long term ones, I don't think need to be absolutely rock solid recommendations, because you're right, we still have questions, but we have time. No, those are long term recommendations. Short term, like, listen, immediate fix, I want to do chat and I want to do a reorganization of some information and, the move things around option, right? Is that what you called it? Medium term, maybe it's the reskin or theme or template, I think it was the name of it there, for pretty short money. And then long term, maybe it's an upgrade to one of those bigger packages that can do more, but with, pending more, I don't want to call it research, but, pending more surveys or feedback or discovery or whatever you might call that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely want to do the short-term stuff. I'm pretty confident in the medium-term stuff, but I'm not sure yet about long-term. Let's keep looking at it, right? That kind of a recommendation.
yeah, I think that makes sense. One thing Braxton said is that he could do a demo, have somebody come online and do a demo for town hall. And I really like that idea. And I think it might give people some ideas about how they could do their job slightly differently with a more digital thought process to streamline things and get away from the notebooks. And some of this, I'm saying some of these things out of ignorance, Donna, because I don't really know exactly day to day, how much paper people touch in town hall. I know it's some, I know it's not zero, and I know it's not all, but somewhere in the middle, I think there's room for updating the processes. So what goes first? I think that we need to get a demo so people can see what we're talking about, and then we can get.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think that ties into the recommendation, right? We are as a committee recommending that we take Civic Plus up on this offer, the service offering, but maybe not yet, right? Pending timeline, pending discovery. And in order to help everyone in town make the decision, everyone in town hall make the decision, we recommend everyone get on a demo. I want to show off what it can do. This is one of the ones we like and are recommending. Let's go check it out and see, see what it looks like.
Yeah. So are you seeing that as something that we do in the short term in preparation for and make that possibly a medium term update, and then the long term would be more like the full blown portal type thing where we can track tickets and stuff?
I think
Exactly,
the portal
exactly.
is the last step, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. I would make that long term. I would say short term, we got to work with what we have, move some stuff around, see if there's any way to better funnel people to the right pages to answer their own questions. That for me fits under the air quotes here, the move some stuff around.
Okay.
Just help people find what's currently there if there's any opportunity to do that. And again, I would love if Civic Plus could at least offer some guidance, recognizing that it's probably something we have to implement. That's what I see as short term. And that's free, right? All it costs is Donna's time, which is free for me to recommend.
Right.
Right.
But on medium term, yeah, if there's, let's add a widget or two here. The chatbot I think could probably go on short term, because that seems like an accessible amount of time and money and effort, and it helps us figure out what to do next. But under medium term, it might be was it 4,500 for a new template, right? Hoping that process can can learn to teach us some new things about what could happen in the long term, and then long term is the bigger upgrade.
Yeah,
the way I see it.
Okay. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I don't think that we should go to the big jump until we have like all the permit, the building department is squared away with permitting, even all the other departments, if they want to.
That demo that we're talking about, I think you're right, Donna. That demo might be able to show us in pretty clear terms, well, if we're going to upgrade someday and take advantage of this full offering, here are the many things that we have to convert over to digital, many things that we have to centralize, right? It might help us delineate some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's good. I think that gives us our plan here. And with that, we can kind of assign the costs. So right out of the gate, we're looking at $2,400 to add the chatbot. The rest of it should be free. We'll find out from Braxton how far we can push that free advice, and they can give us the demo. Then we'll look at the medium, which is $4,500 for the template. And if we add Civic Optimize, it's another $4,500 per year plus $5,500 on top to get us set up.
I would just recheck with him, see which one is the next step first, and then,
Yeah, I think he said optimize base. Unless we wanted to go with the starter, but that includes all of the automation that we're not ready for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was getting confused between engage and optimize. So yeah. I guess I got to know which one is the lower package first.
Yeah, optimize is the lower one. Engage is the larger one, which honestly didn't sound better.
No.
Optimize sounded better.
Yeah.
I think it seems to be a different platform and gives you different features if you're going in a different direction. You kept saying if you're booking fields and doing that, we don't have fields to book. So that's not an issue. It adds tools like that. And I just don't think we don't have the services in town to use on it. So, all right. All right, great. All right, cool. What else? Anything else on this? So I'll put this into a kind of a presentation. I think I'm going to give Brian a heads up on costs, what we're thinking, just so that we can get something in the budget. I'll tell him we're looking at right off the bat $2,400 a year increase to add the chatbot. We can turn it off at any time. So if it turns out that it doesn't work for us, we can just turn it off. And then tell them our longer term is looking at a $5,500 setup fee with $4,500. Oh, no, that's the template update is $4,500 one time.
Mhm.
And then if we add Civic Optimize, another $4,500 per year. And 5,500 setup. Okay, 5,500 setup.
And I would add a note in there for the first one, John, for the short-term chatbot thing, to see if Civic Plus can offer us a test or a, you know, trial period or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because it's not just the how does it work on the from the user's perspective. I want to see what it's like to try to train the thing and see how responsive it is to training and things like that. I want to make sure it's as cool as it seems and not just, you know,
If it
something
works
shiny.
for us, for our town.
Yep, exactly, Donna. All right. Okay. All right, great. I got all that written down. I'll punch this into a PowerPoint. Donna, do we have a PowerPoint template that we use in town that you know of?
I have PowerPoint, but I don't know if there's like a specific template.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if you know, Mary had something. I guess I can check with her real quick. If I know when I was on the select board, we didn't do a lot of PowerPoints. We didn't see a lot of PowerPoints. So I
Yeah.
guess I'll throw.
If you need the town seal or something and then design one, that's fine. I can throw you the seal.
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great. That'd be great. All right.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you. All right. Good. Anything else on this? I think I just have to get back to Braxton with those couple of questions. You know, if we can do the test and how far can we push his guidance.
My big question on this is just about the committee in general, right? Is this recommendations ending our official charge, or just another milestone, or what does that mean for us?
Well, that's a good question. That was another thing I wanted to talk about. It's really up to the select board. I'm thinking that once we deliver our plan, it depends. You know, it depends what they want to do. I was going to make the recommendation that we continue some sort of a committee, whether we turn it into an IT committee, keep this committee rolling. I think now that we've gotten through this step, I don't know that we need to keep going with weekly meetings. But I was going to recommend that we either keep this, morph this, or have some sort of technology steering committee for the town, because we don't, and a lot of towns do. And they don't seem very intensive. They, you know, review the, I don't know, the bargaining for cell phone contracts and make sure that, you know, we get fiber to the right buildings, that kind of stuff. And we start these committees up as needed, but I think we should just have a standing committee that keeps an eye on these things. And it's not all of a sudden, oh, hey, you know what? We got to do this quick. Somebody form a committee, figure it out, because we got to pull the trigger by summer.
Yeah, I think there was one that was started a while back, and that's, like I said, when we did the upgrade to Civic and redesigned the web, we had like Chris Conrad from the police department. He was on. It was
Right.
the IT review committee, and we
Yeah.
had someone from Sousa IT come in and you know, tell us, we're doing fiber optics to the school, we're, you know, here, we're there, you know, what they're doing. Right now, there's basically, I don't think there's any communication on that.
Yeah. I don't know, TJ, what's your thought on keeping a committee going?
Well, I mean, I see the need for it. I agree that it's an ongoing thing, right? The need for technology understanding and guidance and all that is never going to go away. It's never going to get smaller, right? It's the kind of thing that only goes and extends and grows and all that. I bring it up, however, because I definitely need to bow out. I can't manage trying to do this anymore. So if we were done, that would be a great time. If we're not done, then I'm going to have to just submit my own resignation. So, you know, I don't want to leave the committee high and dry. Obviously going to finish it out to the recommendation stage at least, but at that point, I'll probably have to reevaluate and see what they say for our future and what I can commit to.
Right. Yeah, totally understandable. I've been having similar thoughts. But, yeah, I mean, these things take a chunk out of life. So it depends on how much you can give, how much you want to give.
Weekly meetings is a killer, you know.
I know. I know.
And now
Um,
with the summer coming and it's going to get more and more. And they're
Yeah.
thinking about switching from Zoom and going to the Microsoft.
Oh, Teams.
Yes.
Mhm.
But I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, I don't know how to use it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know
It's
Zoom
not
that
any
well.
different. It's, click the button in a different spot, but it's the same idea.
well, TJ, you're going to have to come in and show me because we don't.
John, you're hired. See how I punted like that? That was great.
Yeah, that was great.
All right,
Excellent.
So I'm sure you can hear the doorbell ringing, the dogs barking, the kids
Yep.
are up my my backside over here. I gotta take off, guys.
I'll make a motion to adjourn if we're all set.
All
Are
right.
we all set?
I think we're set enough.
All right, then second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
6:23. All right.
All right.
Good night, guys. Thanks.
Good night.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.